How's it going? We are just flakes of empty dust sitting on a ball of rust. What to car talk about? World War II. Thank God we won it. There's an operation called Operation Unthinkable, which would have seen, after World War II, we basically immediately fight the Soviets again. I think it was like a British plan to frame the Soviets for being more aggressive in 1945, and then that would provoke a war. I think the cooler heads probably would have prevailed during that time, and peace would have been negotiated still. If there was the Soviets were framed, and they're like, no, we did it, and maybe some land would have been conceded, but there would have been another war. Scary thing to think about. Although, honestly, the Soviets might have been able to keep going. Yeah. They lose a lot in men still, again. But yeah, they could probably taken the European continent. I don't think though, after that they could go invade Europe or anything. There wouldn't be much people to defend Europe, or England. Yeah, there wouldn't be many people to defend England, but the Soviets would really struggle to make their way, back onto England, so that I think if Operation Unthinkable went through, the Soviets would lose. No, wait. I don't know. It's hard to say. I think the Soviets would push west and do a pretty good job of it for a while. And they'd even, defeat American forces. It would have been really interesting to see. Terrible thing, too. Again, this is called Operation Unthinkable. It's proposed by Winston Churchill. Got a team to get it ready. They never went through with it, though. But the Americans also had a nuclear bomb, so they might have been able to start using the nuclear bomb and just destroy Soviet forces that way. They would have had to drop a lot of nukes. I think they probably would have ended up dropping over 10 nukes. That had ended up happening. Yeah. And it's not like there'd be much stopping them from dropping a nuke on Moscow or Stalingrad or Kiev or something. I guess maybe limited range, but even then they could have sailed an aircraft carrier. Yeah, they could have sailed an aircraft carrier into the Baltic Sea. The Soviets wouldn't have much capability to stop it from operating up there. The entire Japanese fleet could have slowly made their way to the Atlantic and just defeat any attempt to invade England or something. And, the American Pacific fleet could potentially still gone through, isn't that crazy? Not only is there a major war in Europe, but then, the Americans also have to fight in Japan. That must have felt pretty bad, See, everyone thinks Hitler got himself into a two-front war. But really, Hitler wasn't a two-front war with America, because his plan was to go through the Soviet Union and then surround the Americans on the Atlantic and the Pacific. It's so obvious. I think Hitler's probably the closest any one person's come to conquering the world. This is crazy because this guy used to be homeless, So how did he go from being homeless to almost conquering the world? Law of luck involved, apparently. A lot of being mean to people. And the things lined up well for him to fill in place. like, I think he had a lot of, you know, military success in the French campaign, Welsh campaign, like, you know, modern warfare, or like their version of modern warfare and tactics ended up being really helpful, their technology. Yeah, absolutely insane how much, you know, because think about it, this was like a country that had been, you know, banned from having a military, suddenly taking over, you know, most of Western Europe. That's better. Maybe when the sun is at this angle. This is a terrible angle for the sun to be at. So how did the Nazis do it? How are they so effective? Initially. Well, they of course had better technology. Although, I think a lot of people argue this technology wasn't economic enough, which I think is true. You know, like if you end up fighting a war with like experimental weaponry, you know, you never standardize it and make production streamlined and easy, you know. You're gonna struggle to produce units. It's just, you know, basic industry that the Germans failed at with their tanks and their planes and stuff. Yeah. So the Polish, you know, that was kind of an easy victory. You know, Germans had numerical advantage, I think. Well, definitely with the Soviets they did. You know, so they just went and conquered it. They dropped bombs, rolled up tanks. You know, people hadn't really been like, you know, seeing too much of like, you know, using tanks and bombers in war. You know, simply studying like, you know, Japanese, their invasions, that dumb stuff. Because that was like really the only main conflicts going around with modern warfare. I know about at least. I don't know. Might have had some other stuff going on with the Ottoman Empire. I don't know. Yeah, so. Yeah, with air superiority and being able to drop bombs, it's a pretty big advantage. I think a lot of people. I think people understand it. Because you can bomb like factories and stuff in your production. You can bomb houses and kill people. Just make it hard to live. I mean, imagine like an entire city of homeless people, you know? Imagine them trying to fight a war. Not easy, especially when they gotta take care of like the kids and they don't have a house and stuff. They don't have a factory to go build stuff anymore, and there's no energy because the oil pipeline got bombed. Yeah, they had a well-trained man who would, they had paratroopers who could go secure targets that ordinarily would be like very fortified because they had a wall, but no longer fortified because of the parachute. You know, you just drop them in. Germans never built big bombers though. So they dropped a lot of bombs on England, but I think that they made a few critical mistakes. One mistake they made was they quit the RAF raids too early. So if they, you know, kept bombing like the British Air Force, I think it was Royal Air Force, I think that's what it's called. So if they kept bombing it, they might have been able to like permanently cripple, you know, the British's ability to launch planes, or even have planes. And then later, the Americans' ability to come over and launch their own planes would have delayed the RAF significantly. They also underestimated radar technology. Yeah. So it would have been helpful if they could have, you know, realized that radar was a threat and they should pay attention to it. They did bump some radar stations, but the radars ended up getting repaired pretty fast because the Germans let up on it. Instead, they focused on bombing England, you know. I think World War II is like the thing that most people actively work together, you know, even though like, you have people working against each other. I think like that's the most you've ever had people working together ever in any point in history on, you know, the Allied side. If you think about all the people who were involved in that operation, it's absolutely ridiculous. Like all the things they had to do, like they really, you know, pushed the limits of, you know, what nations can do. I think now, you know, our nations are kind of soft. We don't have to produce war stuff anymore, but you know, like we don't really produce a lot of stuff compared to like what you would expect of like America that's like 1944, but today, like today's technology and stuff. I'm not sure what it is. Maybe it's disability. We have a lot more fat people now. I mean, like a lot of times I ask myself, like, what do people do for a living, you know? And then, does that materially affect me, you know? Is it somehow materially? I think there's a lot of, like, problems with it. Like, in a lot of white-collar jobs, it's just, like, it's like a sales job, basically. It's more complicated, but, you know, you basically have more people than you need trying to sell merchandise, you know? I've noticed this at every place I've worked at. You know, blue collar jobs, it's pretty obvious that they're directly tied to production, you know? There's a lot of white collar jobs that are directly tied to production. People don't realize about. You know, a job like sales, not really as important. You still have salesmen because the company tends to do better with them. But I think the truth is, most companies would do even better if they could figure out how to use the resources that they would ordinarily use with a salesperson. I hope salespeople go out of business, honestly. You know, like, if you want to buy something, you should be like, you go through the website, download it, or not download it, you know, make an order. That's where Amazon does like a lot of really nice stuff, because you no longer need a sales team, you know. Yeah, and then, you know, there's like white collar jobs involved with like software and stuff. These are more valuable to me, in my opinion. I think a lot of them, like a lot of times, like businesses get in the habit of just having like a permanent engineer, when really they should, you know, they need to like hire some guy to build something, and then let him go. But you know, they keep the people because they're not as smart. They find stuff for them to do. Well, I think our structure needs to change for this, you know, just to utilize labor more efficiently. Because I think like I noticed a lot of, you know, tech workers complain that they don't do stuff. And I think you need to like more efficiently utilize engineers, especially software engineers. So there should be like, you know, like there should be like a software company, right? And then you basically rotate out software engineers for certain tasks that you need. So you have like specialized ones, and then you have like general workers ones, and then you have ones that stay in the company they're supposed to be at. But you know, for most labor, you hire the contracted. I don't know. Just a thought.